Alright, now you can see I've got my, it didn't take me just about maybe 5 minutes or less. And you can see how it's swelled up in there. I got my little cavity in there for my actuators. That's going to operate the AC and heat. And you can see how that tape kind of held that foam in place in there. And then, what I'll do is I'll get me a block. This is called sculpting foam. And I'll actually get me a block and I'll sit back here and I'll sculpt that right down to where this will fit right in there just beautifully. And then once I get that done, I will just lay me some old fiberglass mat, refill some resin and some mat, and remat that, and then drill that out and cut that and put that right in there. So looks nice. It's going to work nice. Don't look nice, but it's going to work nice. Alright, now I've got this, I've let this sit for a few minutes. It's gotten pretty solid for my sculpting. So I'm going to go ahead and get something pretty aggressive like this little 36 grit on this 3/8 grinder here. And go ahead and knock this down and just kind of somewhat sculpt it before I start blocking. So let's knock this down a little bit. Alright, now, it hasn't taken but just a few minutes to knock all that down. I've cut it back to my front of it. I cut the back to the level of it, cut the sides level, that's level. Now that's my little block I have to work with to sculpt any way I want to sculpt it. And then I'll sculpt it down just a little bit further, then I'll put my fiberglass mat across it with a little resin, and then put my control right in the middle of it. There's my spot where my control levers will come through. I'll clean that up a little bit, and then once I make this just like I want it, then I'll set this back up in there and cut it out, make it fit. But you can see I'm starting to get my little bit of an arc in it. Fit it right down in there. So now I'll probably go to something a little less aggressive and get doing some sculpting. I'll probably knock down just a little bit more and then by hand on the rest of it. Now I've switched from my 36 grit, which is very aggressive, and switched it over to a little block, and now I'm doing a little smaller block. I took my little grinder here and I cut out the center of it. But now you can really start to see it coming together. And I hadn't been working on this long. And then I'll sit and sculpt this in place. And you can kind of see how that's starting to look now. Starting to put that little bit of arc in it, and then I'll glass that in, and yeah, that's going to be slick. Alright, back to sanding. Now, after just a little bit more sanding, hadn't been out here too awful long, still fiddling with it. You can see I've got all my foam sculpted down pretty good. Got my hole cut out, got my plate there where it fits pretty nice. That's going to look really good. Now I'm going to go in here and cut me some woven fiberglass mat, probably 3-4 layers of it, and then I'm going to blend it right in. I've sanded right in this corner. I'm going to fold it and blend it right down there, up the edge, right down the back, without messing up the rest of this, hopefully. So I'm going to get it all masked off and put my resin on. Now, I've made my little trays again so I can catch my resin as it flows around, because it's going to run around. I don't want to get on there. Then I made me 3 of these little templates of my mat, and I've got my resin here, and I've put the exact amount. It says 10 drops for every ounce. I got 4 ounces, so I put 40 drops. That's very crucial that you mix that right, that mixing ratio, because you can make this too hot and it'll crack, or not enough and it'll just stay gummy and a mess. So I'm fixing to get my little spreader out here. Make sure you get this stirred up very nice. I think you're supposed to stir like 1 minute or something. Alright, now I got it all mixed up, I'm going to take and get my resin on there. And I'm going to start laying out my mat. Just a little bit more. just work that in. Alright, so now I'm to a stopping point. Now I'm going to let this cure overnight, maybe tomorrow evening or something like that. I'll cut it. You can see where I've already kind of cut some of that stuff loose. But now you see I got maybe some glass on there, some fiberglass on there where I can drill, mount that box and do my body work. And yeah, and that went pretty quick. So, let's let it cure and then I'll show you how it comes along. Well, I've made quite a bit of progress since my last little update on my console repair on road rage here. You can see now how it's starting to look. I've got that fiberglass in place. I shot a little black on there just to kind of show what it's all going to look like together. My power windows are in here. My push button start right there. Push button transmission. Got my radio in place. You can see over here where I've got my gauges templated up. I'm doing this so that when Robert comes in, I'm going to have his seat here and he's going to sit right here. We're going to set the depth of this steering column to his arms, so when his legs are in a comfortable position, his arms will be in a comfortable position as well. I've got my paddle shifter coming. I've got to get it in place. Put all that on there to make sure that my steering wheel doesn't hit my dash when I do my full tilt on my steering column. And then once it's in place and he's comfortable, then we'll sit in that seat and we'll look at our gauges to see what gauge that we can see and how we can see them. Some of my most important gauges like temp and oil and tack and speed, I want to be able to see them without having to look around the paddle shift or look around one of these bars and spokes. So we'll orient those in a way where you can do that. The rest of this is all this custom interior you can see that we're putting in here. Everything's having to be kind of cut and fit and modified. So we're making a lot of progress. Still got to make the back seats for it, but I'm going to get back to work here and I'll give you an update later.